Before we get into this remarkable, amazing interview with my egg donor, your boy's been traveling, living his best life, and I've been recording footage for this channel. So if you love travel vlogs, you love interviews, you like hearing about my IVF and surrogacy journey, as well as some drag race stuff in there, and some random stories from moi, yours truly, please make sure you subscribe to this channel because I got some great content coming your way. Apologize in advance for the shaky camera. It was windy and our cameraman was shaky. Well, welcome to another episode of Single Black Gay Dad. I have a very special guest today.
I am Melody. I am the egg donor.
For the twins.
For both the twins, yes.
So I think this is a very first for YouTube. I don't know if there's anyone on YouTube that has ever introduced their actual egg donor, because as you know, egg donors are usually anonymous and they don't want to be seen. So this is the twins' biological mother. I want to tell the viewers about it's in one of my videos. So basically, what attracted me to your profile was obviously your amazing looks. And and the fact that, like, I don't remember what you said in there, but like it just spoke to me and it just made me realize that you were definitely the one. Yeah, I remember I saw your profile and I knew that you lived somewhere in the city, and I was trying to find, like, if I knew anyone that knew you were trying to stalk your social media. Don't do that, by the way. I remember my cousins went to a restaurant and she saw a girl that she thought was you, and she was like, she sent me a video of a whole other girl that wasn't you. but yeah, so we finally met and it was like we were best friends. Like we talked that day and everything was like, good.
If I had a chance to find your information, I was trying to figure out who you were too. Like, you know, so once we did get the chance to meet and talk, it was just like, I'm so glad. Like, you know, like a match made in heaven.
Exactly, right? So tell the viewers, how many children do you have? And like, what do you have? Like, how many children did you have before the twins?
So, I guess in total, including the twins altogether, I would have 4 children. I have 2 sons prior to the twins. My oldest is now 13 and my youngest is 11. He's the cameraman.
Thank you.
As you're going through the process, you know, food expenses, again, all of it has to pertain to these appointments and to the donation process. But these, as you fill out an expense sheet, pretty much you get reimbursed back for that. And in the moment when you're spending these costs, you might not realize it, but when the lump sum comes to you, it is very helpful. Mm-hmm. So, you know, before I sound like a superhero, let's be honest, I really did this more for the 2 sons that I had and ended up with 2 amazing angels in the process that their father has allowed me to see.
How did you go about becoming an egg donor?
So, honestly, I seen an ad on Facebook for the egg donation clinic that I ended up going with. And as I went about the process, they had had a therapist talk with me to kind of see where my mental state was at when it came to donation. And one of the questions she had asked me was if I had any issues with like same-sex or single parent couples obtaining my eggs. And my response to her was, who am I to say who can or can't be a parent? You know, another question she had asked me was if at any point the children, as they got older, wanted to get to know me, how would I feel? And like, I didn't even think about the situation that we're in right now, where, you know, Andre's a single father and, you know,
because that's not the norm, by the way.
But like, you know, like, so when I answered that part of the question, like, because I was thinking about like some of like how it would be a couple and whatnot, and like, you know, if the parent that's raising the child from the very beginning, male or female, at the end of the day, like, that's your parent, you know. So like, the analogy I gave her was, I don't know, you know, it'd be kind of weird if the kid came looking for me, because it's like if I went to Home Depot and I bought some soil, and then a year later I went back to Home Depot and they're like, how's that soil I sold ya? You know, so, but I'm more than happy for the way that things happen in this unique situation. You know, I never thought about it as I was answering those questions, but hey, like, you know, I was just being kind of honest.
Right? We're both very blunt, by the way, so you're probably going to be off-putted by this, that you're not hearing the typical answer, but we're real. We're real on this channel. We keep it 1,000% real. So was your family and friends that knew about your donation or that you were thinking about, were they supportive of it?
They were just, Like literally, my mom and my dad like laughed, and they're like, Melody's trying to sow her seeds all over the world.
Like these men, like these men.
You know, like they're just like, oh, okay. You know, because it is something different. So I don't. My family's actually really happy now to again have the blessings that are the twins, you know, and Andre. Like,
thank you. So what were your fears about donating? Like, what did you fear before getting into this situation? Like, what was your fears?
Honestly, I think I didn't really quite think about like the emotional aspect of things, fears wise or anything. Like in the beginning, any of my emotions that I didn't know that I would feel or how they would come about or anything came and I faced them through the situation we're in right now, you know, because like I didn't expect the emotions, like getting to know the twins and meeting them, and you know, because even though like it was my eggs being donated, it was kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? So like it was just a different aspect once I met the twins and I seen them, and you know, like a different level of emotions came in. Like, oh my God, you know, like I would never donate again after this because like it's just too emotional for me. Overall, I didn't really have too many fears because it was out of sight, out of mind, and the emotional aspect that I ended up embarking in once I had met the twins, and you know, it was no longer out of sight, out of mind. But at the same time, I know that they're in amazing hands. So it was never any fears about who they're with or how they're being raised. You know what I mean? It's more, I hope that one day I don't get questions like, why weren't you here from them?
What were your hopes for the children that resulted from your donation? Even if like our situation wasn't what it was, but what would your hopes have been if it was an out of sight, out of mind situation?
Well, I would hope that those children are in a loving home, being well taken care of. Like, that's what I imagined, you know, like at the end of the day, if a person can like wants a child so much so to go through such a process, then they deserve that child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
They will take impeccable amounts of care to that child.
Yeah.
They will do everything that a person who got pregnant for free you know, didn't think about the expenses in doing for that child.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I would imagine that they are hopefully cellists and like first ladies and stuff, like you know, like I would hope for them to be a part of an elite group of people that, you know, they're going to be amazing people in the world either way.
Would you ever donate again? Why or why not?
I would not donate again on the strength of I would like to have another child of my own eventually. Maybe not. I don't really know. But I'm still in the fence of that part of things. But after embarking into the emotional journey of getting to know the twins, it's that out of sight, out of mind theory is no longer there. You know, like, so
it changes things for you.
It does change things for me because I don't know how I'd feel emotionally going further, especially seeing the amazing beings that they are. Like, you know, like their father is, of course, the pinnacle of why they're so amazing.
I try.
You know, but like outside of the looks, they're just so amazing little beings. Like, and shoot, it would have me like out here like, oh, is that my child? Like,
right? Yeah, I would be
like,
paranoid. That's why
you know?
It's funny because the clinic, I had the option to donate or destroy the embryo, and I decided to destroy them. They looked at me like, you got a donation. Why wouldn't you want to donate? I'm like, because mentally, I couldn't know that I have children out there that I don't know. Like, that's not for me. It's not for everyone. People who donate their embryos and their sperm are amazing people because I'm not cut out from that cloth. So how was the overall experience for you? Like from start to finish, like was it easy?
Like physically or like mentally, like what?
All
exactly?
of the above. Like I know it was hard for you physically. I know that, but
so like physically, what was hardest is okay. Honestly, I don't know if it's the best reference, but ladies, if you ever go through egg donation, those the medications that they would give you to multiply your eggs, I now know what it feels like to have blue balls. I don't know if that's true.
Keep it real here.
But that is how it felt to me, you know, from an internal standpoint. And that long epidural needle, because I'm always saying the A word, I'm so sorry. That long epidural needle that, you know, if you've ever gone through pregnancy and labor, that most women are like, oh my goodness, that's scary, yada yada. That something big like that is going inside you to take the eggs right out of your, so you know, that's a whole nother experience. It's somewhere, it's an irritating experience physically, somewhere in between regular period cramps and actual labor. Not as bad as actual labor, but and you know, the physical aspect of it kind of did last a day, so I didn't like it. Like, after you do extract the eggs, you aren't going to feel the best for the day, and they'll tell you those things.
You were very groggy afterwards, like you were like a whole zombie. Like,
yeah.
Had this guy that she met for the very first time, me, driving her home, like crazy. But like that's why our bond is as strong as it is. Like, there's the trust there. So with that said, I guess, what were the benefits of donating your eggs, if there was any? I guess.
Well, again, like, outside of like the reimbursement, because reimbursement, like, is you get the lump sum even if you are spending your own money. You don't realize that lump sum when it comes in. It's like, you know, the bank's saving you $500 and you're only spending $1 a day, and by the time they hand you that $5 to $100, you're like, oh, thanks, you know, like. So outside of that benefit, a part of me just did feel a little bit like happy inside, knowing, okay, I'm going to give somebody
the opportunity,
you know, the opportunity to be a parent. And I like to think that I'm a pretty awesome human being. So, you know.
Which is why the twins are so amazing. Not because of me, but
he's so modest. Like, they are so amazing and so well-mannered because of Andre.
Not today, though. So what were the downfalls of donating your eggs? Like, if there was any, whether it be physical or...
Honestly, I don't really know that there were any downfalls. I haven't been trying to actively have another child to know how my body's working on that aspect of things. So I don't really know if there is any downfalls. So far, I can't say there are any.
So how was the egg retrieval procedure for you? Like, was it painful, or like because you were sedated, you didn't really... It
was very painful. Like,
okay.
It really was. It's hard to explain, like, the type of pain and irritation that it was, but also, like, they did tell me that there was possible risks of, like, overproduction of your eggs, and like something that can happen to females afterwards because of the overproduction of the eggs. So, you know, like, I'm thankful that right now I have not experienced any of that, but there are those risks that you may want to look into if you are considering
being an egg donor.
Yes, that being an egg donor, and I don't know what other risks they might be as the surrogate.
Your doctor will let you know. But either way, it sounds like it's very painful, so you have to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, for the right people. And
just in case you haven't watched all the episodes from beginning to start, the surrogate and the egg donor are two separate
people.
Yes.
There are traditional surrogates who carry an embryo or a baby that has their DNA, and there are gestational surrogates, and gestational surrogates are the norm. It's very rare to find a surrogate that's willing to give up her own biological child. So there's usually going to be two ladies involved if you are a gay male. Did you feel a connection to the twins, like, when you first met them, like as a result of you not carrying them? Like, did you, like, feel like they're mine? Like, how did that feel for you, your initial meeting, the very first time you met them?
Oh my goodness, my initial meeting them, I'm not gonna lie, I think Andre remembers. I teared up and I kind of cried.
I don't remember that.
When I looked at Janai, I cried. I've never seen a mini me, like an actual mini me, like a female. And
and she's your first daughter, so like there's 3 boys, and she's the first girl.
You know, because like I have my 2 big head sons before, you know, I'm meeting Braxton, and it's like, yeah, you know, he reminds me of the boys.
Yeah, he looks just like
you know, like he looks just like them and everything. So it's like he reminds me of the boys, and I've been through the experience of having boys already. Now, my first girl, my first daughter, oh my gosh, and it's like looking at her and she looks like a mini me. It's I don't know, invoked an emotion inside that made me feel like I wanted to become a better woman. Like, that's also why I'm like, I'm not giving up any more of my eggs.
But it really,
not because I regret Andre having them. I love that Andre has them, but I'm sitting there like, okay, well, I want one of those for myself.
Right? Yeah. And then being around babies, either other people's babies, it gives you baby fever. It makes you be like, do I want another one? Yeah. And then you hear them cry and act up, and you're like, no,
seriously.
I don't. What was your initial impression of me when we first met? Like when we met on the, like when we started talking on the phone, like did you have a good feeling? Like this is the parent, or like what did you feel initially? And I won't be offended.
My first reaction of you honestly was, oh my god, I gained a new girlfriend. I was at work when we first talked on the phone.
I was at work too.
You know, so like I was sitting there hiding, huddled up in the workroom, trying to like.
That day, everyone left early, and I'm just sitting on the phone.
On the phone for so long. I swear we were supposed to be on a lunch break or something, and it's like.
No, I wasn't on lunch break. I was supposed to be on the phones. I was sitting there chatting to you the entire time. I no longer work at that job, but that's not the reason. But.
But you know, like we were on the phone for a good minute, like say we weren't at work. Because of the uniqueness of Andre and I's situation, and at the time I was working at a fertility clinic, I was not allowed to be anonymous. So like that's part of like how Andre and I got to meet. And so my boss was in communication with everything going on. I had to get permission from my boss because I worked at a fertility clinic. Yeah. So even as I first got off the phone with you, it was like, oh my god, I feel like I gained a new best friend, a new girlfriend. And my boss was just like, oh, that's so sweet, you know, like. So it was, the universe was very supportive within this unique situation, like literally
everything fell into place.
Yes,
because I remember there was supposed to be another couple that wanted to use you when I was doing it, and they're like, oh, she's not available, she'll be available like a few months later. I was turned off by that because I was initially like, should I just go on to someone else? Because I don't want to wait that long.
I was feeling gassed by now. I was sitting there like, everybody wants my eggs.
Yep. I was like, this is a lifetime decision. And I'm like, if I have to wait a few months for that, then so be it.
The first couple opt out because, yes, at the time I did admit that like I was a smoker and everything. And I did say I wouldn't mind like quitting for the process, which... as I quit for the process and took extra supplements to make sure these eggs are extra golden for Andre, like, hey, look at what happened, you know? But the other couple, as they opted out since they found out I was a smoker and stuff, it just opened the doorway for Andre and I to not only meet, but for him to have my eggs, because if it wasn't for him being next on the list and then me figuring out that I couldn't be anonymous, then, you know, everything pretty much just went within its own synchronicity as it was supposed to happen.
What advice do you have for aspiring egg donors and sperm donors?
Okay, so first, seriously think about the possibility of if the child wants to get to know you, whether they're grown adults or the scenario is unique as me and Andre. And if you are mentally prepared and ready for all of that, outside of that, if you're willing to go in out of sight, out of mind, and later down the line when they're 18, they say, hey, what's up? Go in with a good heart and good intentions, you know, like, know that you're helping a family. Know that you're helping a person, giving them a little gift that, like, you know, they may not have been able to have on their own due to whatever unique situation. And really just go with integrity. Go with, like, an open heart and an open mind. Just be an authentic person and come very transparent and, like, with integrity if you're open, like, hoping to donate or give anyone that special gift. Like, don't give people things just because, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like. So,
last and final question. Do you have any regrets, or is there anything that you would have done differently in this process?
No. I have no regrets, and there's nothing I would have done differently. Like, even if I went through the emotional roller coaster, I would never have went through it if I didn't have the chance of giving my eggs. And, you know, and I don't regret going through it. I don't regret that meeting those children made me a better person, made me a little bit of a better mom to the two that I had. And yeah.
Thank you for taking this time to interview with my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next one.